give you 5 minutes. Would you please just go ahead and go through your presentation? Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening to the members of the council. We're here, I've been here addressing the council before on matters relating to these burial sites. We've sent correspondence to you in a report that was prepared by archaeologists. We represent Rise St. James in certain matters relating to those burial sites. But what I'm here to speak with you about this evening is actually something that's forward-looking. And that is to urge the council to consider an ordinance that would require notice to the council when these burial sites are found in the future. State law requires notice upon discovery to the chief law enforcement officer in the parish, and then subsequent to that to the Division of Archaeology. And so coming out of the Formosa experience, as you know, the land use application was pending at the time that Formosa had discovered burial sites on the property. These graves were on the property. And we're in conversation at that time with the Division of Archaeology because they had to do a Historic Preservation Act assessment. But there was no notice to the council at the time that the land use application was being considered. And certainly for RISE folks and members of the community, that's a very important piece of information that would have been important to know at the time. It has to do with land use decisions, and I think the other thing that we learned coming out of this experience, and as a result of the work that these independent archaeologists did, is that there's now the possibility of affirmatively identifying or locating and identifying more burial sites because of these maps that they've used and this process of cartographic regression, which allows them to get out there and sort of spot where these sites might be. And that's very important and significant because it sort of opens the door to history here, right? Because instead of just waiting for inadvertent discovery, which can actually result in destruction of some of these burial sites, you can actually start to map these very significant cemeteries. And they are, many of us have known for years that this area is rich in that history. And now that there is the ability to affirmatively identify these sites, that's something I think it's important for this council to be aware of. But more importantly, to inform your land use decisions and your planning. That as these sites continue to be developed and these types of cemeteries are discovered, this is something that you should know about. And so there's nothing in state law. This is much more straightforward and simple than the ordinance you're considering having to do with golf carts and side-by-sides, because this is basically just saying that if you find something, the council wants to know, and the council should get notice, and that can be done through an amendment to the land use ordinance. It can be done as a standalone ordinance, and it's a very simple notice requirement, so that it can inform all of your sort of policies and decisions moving forward. I think the other thing about these sites is that I don't think you can overstate the significance of that discovery and what it's meant to people in the community. And I've been out to that site, and even for me, I'm from over in Lake Charles, but even for me to stand there and sort of just think about, and you know, we've reported to you that even Formosa's consultants believed initially that these are people who were enslaved on this plantation, on the Buena Vista plantation, who are buried there. And it's quite a large fenced-in area, and if you haven't been there, I would encourage you to visit it because it's a really profound experience, and it is something that is resonating with people in the community. But not only in the community, we're hearing from people around the world. I'm getting contacted by journalists around the world, from scientists and archaeologists, and certainly in this moment in this country, there's a lot of discussion about history, right? And this is a way that this council can show leadership in acknowledging the existence of these sites, that they're out there, and that when they're discovered, you should have notice. and that should inform decisions moving forward. We're happy to be in conversation about that if the council is willing to consider that. I know that my colleague Gail LaBeouf is going to speak a little bit more about why this is so important, but we're happy to be available and discuss any of the other sort of legal frameworks that apply here. And we appreciate the council's time.